We buy him for $500 in the 1-3 game. It is a juicy game. There is a drunk player throwing money away. There's a couple other players that are totally on tilt, and we are completely card dead for the first hour or so. We're under the gun with 5-4 suited. Open for a raise of 15. This is the first hand I played in over an hour and a half. My VPIP until now was 0. Anyway, you only get one caller from a player in middle position. He is a very interesting player because he doesn't stack his chips. He keeps it in like some sort of pile. It makes it really difficult to tell exactly how many chips he has. And he plays slower than molasses. Flop comes out Jack 6-8 with one club. So I got a gutter and some backdoor stuff going on. And since my image is very conservative at this point, I just decide to leave for 15 and see what he does. He ends up putting in the call, but as I said, he does everything very slowly and methodically and slowly. Anyway, after a long time, he puts in the call for 15 whole dollars. Turn card is a great card for our range. It's an ace. And with my current table image, this looks like it smashes me, so I bet out 45. And he puts in a quick call. And for him, that is like lightning speed. So I think he's drawing. I don't think he has a pair. So with 154 in the middle, we see a beautiful king of clubs on the river. Definitely think he probably doesn't have anything, but he can probably beat 5 high. So I decided to put him to the test. I jam. He has about 150 left in his pile. He quickly folds and we take this one down. So after nearly 2 hours, we finally look down at what I would call a real hand. And we're in the low jack with ace jack suited. Player to our right opens for a raise to 20. We put in the call, and so does 2 other people. So we're going 4 ways to a flop with $83 in the pot. Flop is pretty darn good. It comes jack high with 1 diamond, and the pre-flop raiser ends up checking to me, and this is a green light for me to bet. I size to 50. I figure this will get rid of most of those overcards that might be there, and only down to like pocket pairs that might not believe I have a jack. Turn card comes as a king of diamonds, so we pick up a backdoor flush draw, and now he checks again. I decided just to check this back. It just felt strange. I don't know exactly why, but it just did. I expected him to barrel at the river card no matter what it was. 2 of hearts comes, he fires an 80. I put in the snap call, and he shows pocket jacks.
Ooh. Oh, monster.
Now you're going to make the one on that one.
Nice there, man.
80.
Wow, is he taking pictures of it?
I'm showing that I actually lose the pot once in a while.
Oh, what a mega hand.
I'm not a big fan of bomb pots, but when the table wants to play them, I'm definitely going to be playing them. It's good for the gamble. It's good for the action of the table. Here we got $15 bomb pot, so we got 120 in the center. Flop comes down 6, 7, 8, all clubs. And I haven't hit a bomb pot in quite some time, so I'm hoping to get something. The action gets checked to the drunk in seat 2, and he starts talking.
I'm sure somebody got the club. 100.
As you heard, he put out a $100 bet, and now it's to the next player who decides to put in a call for the 100. At this point, I don't even know what I have. I look down at 1 ace of clubs, pretty good start, and then I have a 9 of spades. So I got an open ender, and I got the nut flush draw. And for $100, I'm getting a very good price to draw at him. Who knows what the player in seat 2 might have. Anyway, everyone else folds out, so we're going to go 3 ways to a turn card of a 6 of spades. Definitely not the card I was looking for.
100. I'm sure somebody got the clubs.
The drunk player bets 100 again. The player who called him originally puts in the quick call. And here I'm getting a great price to continue, so I put in the call. River card comes as a 10 of spades. I was really hoping for a club, but when they both end up checking to me, I'm very happy to get the rest of my chips into the pot. So I jam. I got about $220 left in my stack. The initial bettor, who was the drunk, puts in the fold, and the other player asks for a count. I mean, there's a $1,000 pot and I only put out 200, so I imagine he must be pretty weak if he's asking for a count. Anyway, after some moaning and groaning, he finally puts in the chips for a call. I tell him I have a straight, and he turns over king 9. So we end up chopping this pot, and it's a good result for me on bomb pots because normally I don't do well on them. There was one early position limper, and I look down at queen jack suited on the button. I make it 20. I end up getting 2 callers, one from the big blind and one from the limper. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with 61 in the pot. Flop comes down queen high with a pair of 3s. So got top pair. Not likely anyone has a 3 in this spot, but you never know the way this game's been playing. Both players check to me. I'm going to continue. I put out a bet of $25. Only the big blind puts in the call. And he's the one that does everything very slowly, so it might take him a while to get those chips across the line. So once he finally decides to put his chips in the pot, the other player folds out, and we're going to go heads up to a turn card with $111 in the pot of a 4 hearts. My original plan was to probably check back any kind of turn card, but this one picks up a little flush draw for us, and I decided to build a little bit bigger of a pot just in case we get there with our flush. We can go for max value. So I bid out $75, and he goes into the tank, and for him that's a very long time, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. So after about a minute, he finally puts in the call, and we see a river card of a beautiful 10 of hearts. So now I'm kind of hoping that he's been slow playing something. He checks it over. I kind of trying to get an eye on how much he has. I asked him if he has any black chips behind because he just has a pile of chips laying in front of him. And he says, no, I don't have any black chips. And I go, okay. So I'm thinking it's probably around $200 maybe. So I flick it in. He puts in a quick call. I show him the flush, and he doesn't seem to be too happy. He flashes that he had the 5-3 of diamonds. So I definitely got lucky to outrun him, but he wasn't going to get any more value out of me unless I got my flush on the end. I look down at Jack 10 suited in middle position, open for a raise to 15. It's folded around to the cutoff and puts in the call. So that's the button. Small blind gets out of the way, and we have the big blind completing. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with $64 in the pot. Looking for something good for my Jack 10 suited hand, and we get 10-9-6 with 2 spades and a club. Even though I hit top pair, I decided to check this one just because it didn't really hit my range that hard. It gets checked around, and now we see a 10 of hearts, probably the best card we can catch in the deck, and we have a player leading into us for $50. Now he's a little bit more conservative by nature, so I think he has something, but I'm not going anywhere, especially with 310. So I put in the call, and the other players fold out. So we're heads up to a river card with $164 in the pot, and the river card comes as a queen of clubs. So it doesn't really improve us. He still seems to be liking his hand. I'm now thinking that he has a 10, and I'm thinking, what 10s could I beat? I mean, ace 10, I know. King 10, no. Queen 10, no. Jack 10, I can chop with him. 10-9, I lose. I don't have too many cards that make me a winner, but I feel like I underrep my hand so much that I'm going to have to put in a call, but I really don't like it. I'm very close to folding this, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. So I grab my black chips, toss them in like I'm saying goodbye to him, and he rolls over pocket 6s. It was another tough hand. I seem to be running into a lot of these type of hands lately, but I think I lost the minimum on it. All right, it's time for another bomb pot. Everyone put up $15. We got $135 in the center. I look down at my premium holding of 5-6 offsuit, hoping for a good flop, and the flop comes down 6-3 deuce. So top pair, straight draw, Not bad, not bad, but being under the gun, I am not going to bet this thing at all. I check it. It gets checked over to the player in the hijack who puts out a bet for $25, and then everyone starts to call the $25, making a joke about, oh, it's another bomb pot for 25 more. And with all these callers, I'm going, there's no way my hand would ever stand up facing this much action unless I just hit a straight. So, thinking that everybody was weak and that nobody really had too much, I decided to put them to the test. I put out a nice chunky bet, hoping that everybody would fold out. If I get called, I do have top pair, and I do have a straight draw to fall back on. But I expect to get this through probably 80% of the time at least, maybe even higher than that. Once the first player folds, I feel like I'm in the clear because I think anyone would protect their hand if they had something better than what I have currently, and they all seem to just toss their hands away. So we pick up a bunch of dead money. There's an early position limp and then 2 limpers from late position. I look down at ace jack of hearts on the button. I put in a raise to 20. I might be able to go a little bit bigger, but 20 seemed to be about right. First limper folds, and then the last 2 limpers put in the call. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with 67 in the pot. Flop comes out ace high with 2 spades. So good flop for our particular hand, good flop for our range. They both check to me. I'm going to put out a little bit of a chunkier bet this time. I put out a bet for 40, trying to deny equity to likely flush draws. First limper folds. Next one to my right thinks for a moment before putting in the call. So I'm thinking that he probably thinks he's getting a good price for a flush draw, or he has a weak ace. When the turn card's the 8 of hearts, I am going to size up a little bit more again, this time betting almost pot, $130. My goal here is to really put pressure on draws like a flush draw. If he has a ace, I probably have him beat and get added value from that. And there is a chance that he has a bigger hand than that, and I'll probably find out right now whether he does or not. Anyway, he doesn't take too long thinking about it before he puts in the call. So, as I said, he either has a flush draw, which I would say maybe 60% of the time, or an ace, I would say the other 30%, and then there's like a 10% chance he flops something really big. River card comes as a 6 of diamonds, so the flush draw bricks out. He checks it to me. I'm just going to check it back and get my showdown value, and he rolls over ace king. There's another dealer change. Here comes another bomb pot. This time we have an ace of diamonds. That's all we know. That's all we care about. We have an ace. And we get to see a flop of queen 9-3. There is 1 diamond up there. There is no ace. So we check our hand over. We're not going to be leading with anything here unless it's really good. Kind of want to see what the action is behind us. It gets checked around and around all the way to the button, who decides to put in a bet, and he makes it a decent sized bet of $65. Now, what kind of hands he would do this with? I think he would do this with just about any queen. And of course, if he had 2 pair or better, he would definitely do that too. The other player puts in the call, and when he puts in the call, I'm thinking that he's more likely to have a weaker queen or a hand like Jack 10. And I look down at my second card, and it is a queen. So this is a good time to put in another chunky size bet. I make it $225, just hoping to take down this pot. You know, there's already over $250 in there, and I kind of like money, so that's what I did. Person on the button decides that they didn't like their hand that much, and they fold. The other one kind of whined about me stealing the pot again, because it's the same thing I did on the last bomb pot. And I'm okay with that. So, yeah, I'm stealing it. I'm taking it from you. You don't have anything. Give it up. Give me your money. Finally, he lets go of his hand, and we take another bomb pot. And this was a very rocky session, but we finally ended up on a up note. So this was a very swingy session. Lots of ups and downs, some beats, some bad runouts. You name it, it happened. Nobody at the table was leaving as long as that drunk player was there. He ended up winning a monster pot, when he made it $100 to go, and he got two callers. One gentleman flopped a straight with a straight flush draw. The other gentleman flopped the second nut flush draw, and our drunk flopped two pair. Needless to say, he turned a full house, and the river card made the flush, and he got himself all in. Ended up probably winning, I don't know, close to $1,500 to $2,000. Not quite sure what he was in. I don't think he bought in too much at the poker game. He spent most of his money at the bar. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate your support. And I'd like to congratulate those winners for the $50 giveaways. I hope you guys run it up on Poker Bros, and thanks for supporting the channel. And until next time, good luck at the tables.